Good afternoon and welcome inside of Holekamp Gymnasium here on the campus of Washington University as we get set for the W&L Invitational between the Eagles of the University of Mary Washington and the Cougars of Averett University in our first of two matches here this evening inside of Holekamp Gym. A weekend full of volleyball here in Lexington. A match today at 4:30. Two matches at 7 o'clock tonight. Two more tomorrow at 11 a.m. and two more tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. So we'll have it for you all weekend long here on the Washington and Lee Sports Network. Thanks so much for joining us here inside of Holekamp Gymnasium. I'm Ryan Connell, joined by Shane Riley. And Shane, the matchup that we have in our first match of the W&L Invitational features the 24th ranked Eagles of the University of Mary Washington against Averett. Mary Washington 3-2, Averett 1-3 to start the year. We'll see how these two teams match up, and we'll get you the full starting laps and a match underway when we come back here on the Washington and Lee Sports Network.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
An obligation not merely to work towards a personal best in the classroom or in the sport we love, but rather an obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. For Special Olympics athletes, victory belongs not only to those who first cross the line, but to all of those who compete and endure.
They are challenged in ways we cannot imagine. They are survivors who test themselves harder and with greater joy than we will ever know.
Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn, as we all do, that in giving we receive so much more in return.
Sport ennobles us. And in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
And now to the starting lineup for the Cougars.
Welcome back to Holekamp Gymnasium here on the campus of Washington and Lee University as we get set for today's match between the University of Mary Washington and Averett University. Time to meet the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Eagles of Mary Washington, it starts with a senior right side from Spotsylvania, Virginia, number 9, Emily Flam. A senior right side from Winchester, Virginia, number 13, Chloe Crozen. A sophomore outside hitter from Towson, Maryland, number 16, Libby Potter. A junior middle blocker from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, number 17, Avery Gallahue. A senior outside hitter from Pelham, Pennsylvania, number 20, Sarah Moore. And a senior setter from Virginia Beach, Virginia, number 24, Lauren Foley. The liberos for the Eagles this afternoon are number 5, Hannah Liverman, and number 6, Julia Gustafson. Head coach Emma Rohde in her first season with her alma mater in UMW. Her assistants Courtney Hempy and Ashley Henriques. Courtney Hempy as the acting head coach here today for 24th ranked Mary Washington. As for the Cougars of Averett University out of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, a 1-3 start to their season is Averett. It starts with a sophomore outside hitter, number 3, Sydney Mounts. It's joined by a sophomore right side, number 15, Hope Parrish. A fifth-year middle blocker, number 16, Destiny McIntosh. A sophomore middle blocker, number 21, Allie Wilkerson. A graduate student outside hitter, number 22, Emma Nash. A junior setter, number 23, Dayton Moore. And the libero is fifth-year senior, number 10, Aaron Gray. Head coach Olivia Earls in her third season with the Cougars. Her assistants Braden Walden, Matt Stillman, and Madison Doddis. So Ryan Connell and Shane Riley here with you on the Washington and Lee Sports Network as we're just about ready to get underway in our first match of the W&L Invitational. And Shane, happy to have you here for some volleyball. Mary Washington and Averett each trying to get back on the right track. Mary Washington got tripped up in 4 sets earlier this week at EMU, while Averett went 1-3 last weekend at home with their last loss coming against Methodist in 4 sets. So both teams trying to bounce back with the win here in the opening match of the W&L Invitational.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Should be a great game out there. Both teams, like you said, looking for a bounce-back win. Mary Washington with the new coach, too, as well, trying to impress early on in the season, and we'll see what they can do out there.
So Mary Washington in the first set here are in the dark blue uniforms with white numbers and letters. They're at the bottom of your screen if you're watching here, while Averett is at the top of your screen in the bright yellow uniforms with the blue numbers and letters. The two will switch sides after every set as well, but just for the point of where the camera is located on the screen, it's an easy thing. If you're watching along, it's hard to get maybe a little bit confused on where people line up. Lauren Foley back first to serve for Mary Washington to get us underway. The senior from Virginia Beach, Virginia, has a team best 9 aces to start 2024, and she sends away a good serve to get things going for the Eagles. An opportunity for Sarah Moore, who just shuffles it over. That one into a block and to the floor. Hope Parrish with the right hand for the Cougars.
Yeah, Mary Washington there trying to get the block off. Sarah Moore got her hands up but couldn't put it on target. Ball set out of play.
So it'll be Emma Nash to serve first for Averett, as they had the first point in the opening set. Nash's serve just long, and a service error gives point to Mary Washington.
A little overzealous there with that one. It's early in the match, though. Nerves are still settling down.
Sarah Moore, the senior from Pennsylvania, rotates back to serve for the Eagles. And that one, contact with the net. And the point awarded to Mary Washington. So 2-1 Eagles. Dug out that time by Sydney Mounts, but nobody there on the other end for the Cougars as it falls to the floor. Back-to-back aces for Sarah Moore.
Yeah, it looked like Emma Nash there was going to go for it, and then maybe some miscommunication on the Averett side. Not really sure who was going to go for that ball.
This one comes to the outside for Parrish, denied it by a couple of blocks. The Cougars get it over on 3. Outside for Croson, pulled out by Dayton Moore. Parrish to the floor. So Hope Parrish with a pair of early kills for the Cougars as she has both their points. And it's 3-2. Allie Wilkerson sends it along for Averett. Soft touch at the net. And Libby Potter with the off speed.
Threw them off there. They were not expecting a little tap there. They were going up for the block, and she just put it right over their heads.
Potter has been somebody who has shined for the Eagles thus far. 27 kills across the first 5 matches for Mary Washington. Croson leads the way with 44 kills, and there's an ace by the Eagles. It's number 5, Hannah Liverman, a senior libero from Alexandria. It's her 10th ace already of the season in what is now the 6th match of the year for Mary Washington. This one, all power from Sydney Mounts.
Yeah, Lauren Foley there, number 24, just couldn't get a hand on it. Too much speed coming at her.
5-3, Mary Washington in front of Averett in the opening set. Aaron Gray. Check that. That'll be number 18, Brianna Larios, back to serve for Averett. Croson, cross court, and has the kill for the Eagles. Each team will make a couple of substitutions. Brenna Campbell, a senior from Clarion, Pennsylvania, rotates in. Campbell will send it away with her team up 6-3. And through a block that time is Destiny McIntosh.
Yeah, strong hit there by Destiny. Really no chance for Mary Washington to return that one.
Pulled out by Sarah Moore on the back row. Into a block and cannot be returned. A combo effort of McIntosh and Erickson up front for the Cougars. Run to the outside, soft tap by Munson. And the point awarded to Mary Washington.
I think maybe one of the Cougars there touched the net.
So each team again will rotate in a few different players. Sydney Aiken will come on to serve. Sophomore from Apex, North Carolina. Last year, got in just 8 matches for Mary Washington, but has played and started the previous 5 matches to start the season here in 2024. That one denied at the net, kept alive by the Cougars. All they could do is get it over on 3, but they'll say it's 4 touches on Averett that time. There's some miscommunication along the Cougars' back line, unable to get it over. An 8-5 lead for Mary Washington. This one returned on 1. Sent back by Moore. At the net, it's Emily Flam tapping it home.
Yeah, she was just able there to fool every Cougar on the court and tapped it right where no one was standing.
Low serve from Aiken, dug out there on the back row by Nash. Tapped across by Moore. Nash deflects through some blocks. And the soft touch doesn't make it over the net. Lily Hussman tried to go off speed, just left it short.
And Hannah Liverman now coming back in for Mary Washington.
Erin Gray, the libero for Averett, 5th-year senior, rotating back. A good serve from her forces Liverman to the ground to dig it out. Cougars keep it up on the return from Mary Washington. They get it over on 3. And that one blown dead by the table official. And looks like was just a premature whistle that time from one of the officials. So they'll just redo it over at 9-6.
Catch a stray whistle every now and then.
Erin Gray, the 5th-year senior libero for the Cougars. It's been first team all Old Dominion Athletic Conference the last 2 years for Averett. Really been an anchor on this Cougars squad. Over on 2 that time goes Campbell. But Gray in position to dig it out. This one gets through the blocks without a tip, and out it goes for an Eagles point.
Yeah, another one there for the Cougars. Just a little overzealous, a little too much power. They got to calm the early game nerves.
A 10-6 lead for Mary Washington. Flam sends it back in, and just a tad long. So a service error against Flam. Return serve back over to Averett. Eagles already with a couple of aces. And some good serving. That one just a hair too far. Dayton Moore plays it along for the Cougars. Parrish sends it over. Moore. And that one gets through.
Yeah, and Sarah Moore this season for Mary Washington. She's looking to be a big help for them on the outside. She missed quite a bit of 2022, but looking to get back, be a mainstay in this lineup for Mary Washington.
Yeah, she was very good 2 years ago, 168 kills, almost 300 digs in the 2022 season, but last year missed pretty much the majority of the season as the Eagles able to scramble that one over. Soft tap at the net. Forced back across by Gentry. Croson through the block and down.
Strong hit there from Croson for the kill.
Timeout, Averett. A 12-7 lead for Mary Washington. Early in the first set, we'll step aside and have more of the first set when we return on the Washington Lee Sports Network. Mary Washington in front of Averett in the opening set. Now the first match of the W&L Invitational. Ryan Connell and Shane Riley with you on the Washington Lee Sports Network. Eagles holding their serve. Moore dug out by Gray. Blocked at the net. But Averett able to get it across. Croson kept alive. This time it's sent down by Hope Parrish.
Yeah, the block there from Mary Washington, unsuccessful. Couldn't tip it back into play. Averett there, a big point for them. They've been falling behind a little bit here as we reach the middle stage of this first set.
Hope Parrish, 3 kills for Averett. 3 kills on 5 total attacks, hitting .600 here to start. Moore, right into the body of Gray. From the back row, it's Emma Nash. Moore takes something off that one. Parrish. Eagles knock it across on 2. Soft tip by Gallahue, sent over on 1. Croson. Cross-court dugout, Gallahue at the net. Pinballing around into the floor. Last touch by the Cougars.
Nick Croson there looking like she wanted to hit it. Smart move to let it go out of play. Gives the Eagles the point.
Very much our longest rally of the match thus far.
Always enjoyable to see those long rallies. Who's going to come out with it?
Just hate to see it end, though, on a kind of unforced error. And contact with the net that time by the Eagles cedes the point to Averett. (13-9) our score halfway through the opening set. Mary Washington will play Washington and Lee after this match. 7 o'clock start time right here inside of Holekamp Gym as Chloe Croson sends another ball to the floor for her 3rd kill of the afternoon.
Yeah, Croson been very active today, very accurate with her shots.
She's been the top hitting option for the Eagles this season. Last year, all coast-to-coast Athletic Conference selection was a ABCA All-Region selection as well. And this one heads into the Cougars bench for a service ace for Mary Washington.
Yeah, Emma Nash over there tried to range over, but couldn't hop over the seat. Couldn't put that one back into play.
So an ace for Hannah Liverman. Only the 3rd service ace of the opening set for Mary Washington. Averaged just about 2.5 aces per set. So been a very good serving team to start the season. Knocked over that time by Croson. And more net contact against Mary Washington. So that sends Kinsley Stevens back to serve for Averett. The Cougars trailing 15-10 here in the first set. And her serve goes long.
And Mary Washington definitely winning the serve battle early. Averett, a few of their serves have gone wide. A few of their hits, too, in general. So they just need to take their time, realize that the set is still very much in their hands.
Brandon Campbell rotates back in for UMW. Mary Washington coming off one of their best seasons in program history last season, but 30-5 before losing to the eventual national champs Juniata in straight sets in the Sweet 16. Mary Washington lost a handful of players to graduation. They lost head coach Alex Hensley as he took the job at Gardner-Webb. Head coach Emma Rohde came in and has taken the reins here of her alma mater in her first season, and it seemed like Mary Washington was just confirming that Averett had kept the same serving rotation before that last serve. So Campbell, after the short delay, will get us back underway. That one catches the tape as it comes over. Moore just has to send it across on the third hit. Parrish blocked but out of play.
Yeah, good effort there from Mary Washington. Just can't keep it in play. Another point for the Cougars.
Husband and Flam right there for the block attempt. Just ran out of real estate on the edge of the court. Moore has to drop to a knee to field the serve. Free ball here for Averett. Blocked at the net. And once again, Emily Flam standing tall.
Flam been very active with the blocks today, combining there with Libby Potter to get big play for Mary Washington.
Potter cycles off. Sydney Aiken comes in to serve. 17-11, Mary Washington. Kept up at the net. Sent back over by Flam.
Yeah, Flam put that one right back onto Stevens, and Stevens really had no play on it.
Stevens as a setter, all she could do was trying to set up a teammate to take a swing on the third hit, but Flam was right there. And this try doesn't make it over the net. Erickson's try comes up short.
And for Erickson, she missed all of last season and hasn't played too much in her career, but she's looking to make a name for herself on this team and maybe pick up a bigger role.
So Averett will use their second time out of the set. We'll keep it here for this one. 19-11 Mary Washington in the first set. Chloe Croson, 3 kills on 7 total attacks for the Eagles. But also some good service, 3 aces as a team, 2 of them coming from Hannah Liverman for Mary Washington. And it's really been some of the compounding errors on the Cougars side of things that have really prohibited them getting off to a great start here in the opening set.
Yeah, the Cougars more shooting themselves in the foot more than anything this so far. And when you look at the stats, Mary Washington with those 3 aces stands out, especially with the Cougars having none.
Each team with 8 kills. Mary Washington as a team hitting .222, while Averett hitting a little inside of 200 at .192. And a 19-11 lead for Mary Washington here in the opening set. The Eagles have played a lot of shorter matches to start the year. They have played 3 straight set matches and 2 4-set matches, so they have not been pushed to 5 sets yet here in 2024. They have wins over Keene, Geneva, and William Peace, and losses to Virginia Wesleyan and Eastern Mennonite. Already the 3rd different ODAC team that Mary Washington is playing here in their 6th match of the season. They'll have another one tonight in Washington and Lee.
Getting their fill of the ODAC conference.
As being only in Fredericksburg, you have the ability to not travel too far and stay in the same state and play a lot of good regional opponents. As we're back underway. Blocked this time and in. The effort there at the net by Flam and Hussman.
And we keep seeing Flam's name popping up with those blocks. She's very active today.
So Sydney Aiken continues to serve here for Mary Washington. McIntosh through everybody.
And Averett there finally breaking the streak of quite a few Eagles points in a row. Looking to come back in this set. And
Aaron Gray back to serve for Averett. We mentioned her being the first team all-conference libero the last 2 years. That serve drops in for an ace.
First ace of the night for the Cougars, looking to keep that going.
She had 579 digs last year. She's had over 500 digs in 3 straight seasons. She has over 2,000 for her career and is actually closing in on 2,200. She's among the active leaders in the NCAA Division III volleyball landscape in career digs, and continues to climb that list here now in her 5th season with the Cougars. A long rally sent over by Averett on 3. To the outside it comes for more. She's blocked off the antenna and then down, and since it made contact with the antenna, it's a point for the Eagles.
Yeah, not a very accurate block there from Erickson. Just put it right into the pole.
So Mary Washington just a handful of points away from closing out the opening set. They lead 21-13. Back row swing for Nash. Knocked down by Erickson.
Making up for that last block there.
Dayton Moore on to serve here for Averett. Or the junior setter from Stanton getting the start yet again today for the Cougars. Looking for the cross-court winner was Hussman and couldn't find the sideline.
And Hussman only played in 6 of matches in her first 2 seasons. Another player looking to step up and have a bigger role for the Eagles.
Campbell will set up Gallahue, and this one also directed wide by the Eagles. So a couple of attack errors on the last 2 points against Mary Washington. Parrish dug out on the back row. Gallahue and a tip battle at the net. Comes back over on the Eagles side. They just knock it across. Parrish into a block. Second effort gets over. And they'll say that Hussman made contact with the net on the follow-through, and it awards another point to the Cougars, and Mary Washington will take a timeout. So a couple of points in a row for the Cougars have made this a 21-17 opening set, and Courtney Hempy, who is the acting head coach today for Mary Washington, will talk to her team and try and get the Eagles to close out the opening set.
Yeah, they've touched the net a few times there, so word of advice, probably step back a little bit. Hempy will probably try to galvanize her team and finish out this set.
21-17, Mary Washington in front of Averett. It's been a run of 4 straight points for the Cougars. Here to make this a 21-17 opening set. Averett just 1-3 to start the season. This is their first action since last weekend. They were at home all last weekend. They lost in 5 sets to Meredith, lost in 4 sets to Salem, won in 5 sets against Bob Jones, and then lost in 4 sets against Methodist. So a team that is trying to get back on the right track. They've got Mary Washington here this afternoon and evening, and then they do not play in the nightcap tonight. They come back tomorrow morning and play Southern Virginia at 11 a.m. and then followed up with St. Mary's College of Maryland at 1:30 tomorrow. So they get 3 matches in this weekend. Mary Washington will play the Cougars here, Washington and Lee tonight. Then they'll head home, and they have a tri-match at home tomorrow.
And Averett last season, they found some success in conference play, finishing 7-5 and making it all the way to the ODAC semifinals before falling to Randolph-Macon in 4 sets. So they're going to look to duplicate that success this year and hopefully make it 1 round further.
And once again, an attack error on Hussman, colliding with the net, 21-18, but the block is wide by the Cougars. And Mary Washington just a couple of points away from closing out the opening set.
The Cougars have shown some fight here, though, working their way back. They were down 20-11, pushing it all the way now to 22-18.
Lauren Foley sends it along. Parrish. And all power that time from Hope Parrish.
Last season, she made an appearance in all 31 matches and added 148 kills on the season. We saw another one there. Strong power from Parrish.
She had 22 kills in the opening weekend in 4 matches. She has 5 already here today in the first set. 5 on 11 total attacks. Eagles will look to go to Moore. Off the block. And it goes out of play. A point for Mary Washington. So Sarah Moore, the chance to potentially serve out the set here. 23-19. Mounts pulled out by Gustafson. Back row, this is Nash. Takes a couple of deflections. Croson. Parrish. And another kill.
Yeah, Parrish now with half of her team's kills. She's really fighting hard for Averett for this set.
A sophomore from Newport News. Making an impact here to start for Averett. Allie Wilkerson will serve it along. Foley over on 2. This one, Croson, down to the floor. Set point for Mary Washington. 24-20.
And Croson again there with a big play for Mary Washington.
Anna Liverman to serve for the Eagles. This one off the tape, comes on over. Croson pulled out by Moore. Mounts knocked across by Flam. Parrish. Flam back and forth. Croson, and there's the opening set. Mary Washington takes it 25-20.
And of course, it had to be Chloe Croson to finish it out there for Mary Washington. Very active during that first set. Quite a few blocks, a couple kills there to finish it off.
So Mary Washington takes the opening set 25-20. We'll step aside, have the second set when we return.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that. A lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
An obligation not merely to work towards a personal best in the classroom or in the sport we love, but rather an obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. For Special Olympics athletes, victory belongs not only to those who first cross the line, but to all of those who compete and endure.
They are challenged in ways we cannot imagine. They are survivors who test themselves harder and with greater joy than we will ever know.
Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn, as we all do, that in giving we receive so much more in return.
Sport ennobles us, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
Back for the start of the second set here inside of Holekamp Gymnasium on the campus of Washington and Lee University. Thanks so much for joining us on the Washington and Lee Sports Network. 24th ranked Mary Washington took the opening set over Averett in match 1 of the W&L Invitational, 25-20. Leading the way for the Eagles in that opening set, Chloe Croson, 5 kills on 11 total attacks to go along with Sarah Moore, who added 4 kills to go with it. 5 digs and 2 service aces for Hannah Liverman as one of the liberos for the Eagles. On the other side for Averett, the big bright spot for the Cougars in that first set, sophomore Hope Parrish, 6 kills on 13 total attacks, 8 digs for Aaron Gray as well. So 2 teams switch sides. Averett will now be at the bottom of your screen in yellow uniforms, while Mary Washington will be in the top of your screen in the dark navy blue uniforms. Ryan Connell and Shane Riley with you on the Washington and Lee Sports Network as we get ready for the second set to get underway. It'll be Averett to serve first, being that Mary Washington served first to start us off.
Yeah, and Averett in that first set, too, they had a higher hitting percentage. They're just going to look to channel that into creating some more successful scoring opportunities for themselves. And they had a strong second half of that set, too, coming back, as we said. They were down 20-11 and tightened things up, finishing 25-20. So they'll look to channel that second half energy of that set into this second set here.
So each team will get their lineup situated, confirm the rotations with the officials, and then we will get the go-ahead to get underway here in the second set. Mary Washington will play Washington and Lee in the nightcap here inside a Holekamp Gym. Averett will then be off the rest of the night and come back and play 2 matches tomorrow here in Lexington. They will play Southern Virginia over in Doremus Gym at 11 a.m. and then play St. Mary's College of Maryland at 1:30. Mary Washington, after their match against Washington Lee, heads home. They've got a tri-match at home tomorrow against Lynchburg and Gettysburg. First point of the second set being contested here. Couple of deflections at the net. Cougars trying to get it across. It goes into a block. From the back row, here's Mounts, and she'll only fire it into the net.
Yeah, if you're the Cougars here, you want to get off to a quick start losing that first set. You don't want to fall behind as you did in that set. So hopefully for them, they're going to try to get off quick.
Sarah Moore will start the service rotation for Mary Washington. She helped to close out that first set for the Eagles. And contact with the net against Mary Washington, the call.
Again, that's been a persistent issue for them today. That might be the 4th or 5th time we've had that call today.
So Emma Nash send it along for Averett. Moore not going to be able to dig it out. It's an ace for Emma Nash. Nash, the 5th-year senior and graduate student from Monroe, North Carolina. Second-team all-conference selection last year. Led Averett in kills with 317 last year. She also had a team-best 38 aces. And she delivered that one on that last serve. Cross-court winner here for Hope Parrish, and she picks up right where she left off in the opening set.
And for Nash there, she's only 65 kills away from reaching the 1,000 kill mark, which will be a big milestone for her.
Has not had the success hitting the ball today in terms of her kills. Still looking for her first kill, but her service has been good. This one drops to the floor, courtesy of Libby Potter for Mary Washington.
And Gray there just couldn't get down low enough to dig that one out.
Emily Flam They'll serve here for UMW. Mounts into a block. Another deflection at the net, and a point for the Eagles.
Averett have had a hard time handling some of those close deflections at the net. If you're Mary Washington, you got to keep that up.
The amp serve targeted at Mounts. She'll send it across and down.
Yeah, that ball just slid through all the Mary Washington players. There, no one really able to get down there and make an effort on it.
4-3 Averett here early in set number 2. Wilkerson into no man's land.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there between Moore and Potter. I'm not sure if one just didn't call it or what really happened there, but unable to make a play.
So the service has improved for the Cougars. It's already 2 aces here early in the second set. They had just 1 in that first set. Soft touch at the net. Mounts goes cross court. Dug out by Liverman. Mounts off the tape and the friendly roll.
It's 2 in a row for her. 2 kills.
Sometimes that's just the way things break. You choose not to block, you step back to receive a shot over the net, and it catches the tape and barely trickles over.
Yeah, fortunate bounce there for Averett.
Mounts again, this time off the blocks. Croson caroms through. Down the line and out as Parrish was looking down the line for the winner.
Yeah, Liverman there thought about going for the play, realized that it might be sailing out, and turned out to be the right move.
I think it really helped that she had 1 foot really on the end line there and knew if any ball to her left is out of play.
It's a good point of reference.
Brenna Campbell delivers an ace.
Yeah, Parrish there just let that ball get a little too close to her and wasn't really able to dig it up.
Campbell last year was primarily the secondary center for the Eagles, but back-to-back aces for her. She had 35 a season ago, and she's got 2 more in the last 2 points.
Yeah, the Cougars on both of those serves just didn't look ready for the ball.
This one high and soft. McIntosh, the tap across. Knocked over at the net by Fletcher. And through to the floor by Parrish.
Yeah, that one took a deflection off of Gallahue and then just went right down to the ground. I think if maybe she didn't get a hand on it, that Mary Washington would have been able to play that one out.
That's already 8 kills for Hope Parrish here this afternoon. That one just a tick wide by the Eagles. Another point for the Cougars.
It looks like the Cougars are carrying a little bit of that momentum they started to build up at the end of that first set. Off to a small lead in this second set.
A skip to the outside by Gallahue. And that time she delivers.
Yeah, and she didn't see a whole lot of action in her first couple of seasons. But has really stepped up for Mary Washington this year and has found herself in a much bigger role.
Sydney Aiken back to serve. 8-7 Cougars here in set number 2. And another ace for Mary Washington. Their 6th of the match.
Yeah, and the Cougars have just not been ready for a few of these serves and have had wary hits following.
Mounts. Finds the angle.
Yeah, another deflection off Gallahue there that just goes in the direction that Mary Washington does not want to see it go.
So Sydney Mounts sends us back underway. Cougars 9, Eagles 8. Mounts will step from the back row and only fire into the net.
That's a rare miscue so far from Mount. She's been very accurate and likely the top hitting option for Averett on the outside this season.
Entered the day leading the team in kills with 40, or second on the team in kills with 43, only behind Emma Ash, who had 52 in the opening weekend. Fletcher. Knocked down by Flam. Emily Flam's play in the middle has been a difference thus far for Mary Washington.
Very active today.
Couple of blocks, 3 kills to her credit thus far. And McIntosh is able to find some real estate.
Yeah, this set, different from the first one, very much back and forth. No team really able to pull out to any kind of lead.
Gray sends along the serve for the Cougars. Fletcher. Knocked over that time by Rachel Green. Nash into traffic. Fletcher. The caroms over on one, and Mary Washington unable to track it down. Liverman in pursuit after it and ended up behind the Eagles bench.
Yeah, she tried to set that one up for her teammate, but ball just sailed out of play.
And an excellent serve. Comes an ace for Erin Gray. This one off the net and stays short. So service error by Gray follows up that ace. 12-11 Averett. And the second over Mary Washington. Foley sends it along. And Cougars just not on the same page.
Yeah, more miscommunication there from the Cougars. Not really knowing who was supposed to take that hit.
Outside, Green pulled out by Aiken. Nash, right place is Gustafson. Croson. Dug out by Gray. Green again. Denied. Flam and more at the net.
Yeah, great block there from Munson.
Foley. Nash. And she finds her first kill of the afternoon.
She's been very active. Finally gets that first kill.
Took her 16 total attacks, but eventually she got there for the first one, as Nash was to not be denied that time. 13 all here in set 2. Croson. Now Parrish. It stays in right along the antenna. Blocked at the net. Kept alive by the Cougars. And Parrish finds another hole in the defense.
And Averett doing a much better job of finding those holes and limiting their mistakes, especially compared to that first set.
Hope Parrish up to 9 kills. Season high 10 last weekend against Bob Jones in that 5-set win for the Cougars. Sophomore from Newport News making an impact. Liverman dives across, gets it over at the net, and it's deflected and down. Got caught up in the hands that time of Flam. So it's another point for Averett.
Flam there just got caught on her back foot and couldn't really push the ball into the air. Didn't really have any momentum.
Averett trying to work quickly. More serve. It's a good one. A free ball here for the Cougars on the return. Croson. Dug out. Aiken out wide. Moore down the line, but out. Timeout, Mary Washington. A 16-13 lead for Averett here in set number 2. Forces the Eagles to use a timeout. We'll have more second set action when we return on the Washington Lee Sports Network. (16-13) Averett in front of Mary Washington here in the second set. The W&L Invitational. Ryan Connell, Shane Riley with you on the Washington Lee Sports Network. Dayton Moore serving for Averett with a few-point advantage here in set number 2. Lamb gets it across. It comes out for Parrish. Blocked and kept alive by the Cougars, and Nash is denied.
Back-to-back blocks there for Mary Washington. Cougars couldn't get anything over the net that time.
Emily Flam in position again. He's got a team best 4 blocks. Moore on the serve. This one clips tape. Kept alive, but the Eagles won't be able to get there.
Yeah, great effort there on the side for the Eagles, but just a pass that went a little too wayward for them.
So Nash will serve for the Cougars. Potter through traffic. Parrish. Mary Washington gets it across. The hustle that time, able to keep it up. And then Averett with the miscue on the other end.
Yeah, those blocks have been very active since that timeout for Mary Washington. Perhaps the coach saw something that she wanted to exploit with the Cougars.
Flam will serve for UMW. Mounts and a misfire.
Yeah, that timeout now for Mary Washington. Looking very good just to keep them composed, and they've scored 3 points coming off of it.
Scrambling are the Cougars, but they get it over. Back row. It's Moore, but she cannot clear the net. Allie Wilkerson. Lofted serve. Croson with the left hand.
That's another kill there for Croson, who's up to 6 on the match.
A team best 6 kills for Chloe Croson. That gets her to 50 on the season in what is now the 6th match of the year for Mary Washington. They still trail in the second set, 18-17. Parrish will knock it over. Potter off the tape and down.
And the Cougars now struggling to maintain that lead. Mary Washington has tied it up.
That one had so much topspin. Once it hit the tape, it kind of just rolled right on over.
Not much the Cougars could do there.
Mounts through some deflections. Soft touch by Fletcher. Pulled out by Moore. Parrish blocked, kept up. Third hit was there, but not in play.
Yeah, just unable to really put an accurate ball there. And a timeout for Cougars.
Averett wants to talk things over. They trail now 19-18 here in the second set. Third-year head coach Olivia Earls will talk to her young squad. Mary Washington rattled off the last couple of points in a row here to retake the lead late in set number 2. And obviously an inflection point perhaps in this match, and a reason for the timeout from Coach Earls, just knowing that falling behind here late in the second set and potentially falling down 2-0, there's a big difference that could be had here, and as opposed to coming away with a split in the first 2 sets.
Especially after a pretty good start they had to this set with the 4-point lead. But you don't want to squander the set you had like that. They're going to look to come back here and tie this up at 1 apiece.
So Mary Washington and Brenna Campbell will continue to serve here. Up 19-18 in the second set. The Cougars still a better hitting percentage than Mary Washington. It's been a lot of the other kind of plays at the net. Some blocking, especially the blocking play of Mary Washington. They have 7 total blocks to just 1 for Averett. Outside for Mounts. This time she gets through the block. Sent along by Kinsley Stevens. Potter puts UMW back in front.
And just no one home there for Averett.
So Sydney Aiken to serve for Mary Washington. Kept over by Rachel Green. That one knocked through by Moore. Mounts. Can't get it over the tape.
Yeah, and this one's starting to slip away for the Cougars. Mary Washington have scored, I believe, 10 or 11 of the last 13 points.
Late run here in the second set from UMW. A great serve, and that'll add to it.
You got to think the Cougars now might be getting a little antsy, potentially going down 2-0. This will be a big... And then they call a timeout here to try to regroup because this is a big set for them.
So down 22-19. Averett will use their second timeout. Averett was up 17-14 And it is now 22-19 in favor of Mary Washington. So big swing in favor of the Eagles late in set number 2 has them 3 points away from going up 2-0.
And you got to think whatever Mary Washington went over in that timeout during that time must be working, because 8 of the last 10 points is very effective.
Sydney Aiken continues to deliver the service here for Mary Washington. 8 aces already in today's match for the Eagles. 5 here in the second set alone.
And 2 for Aiken, looking to add to that here.
Dug out by Green. She'll get the return, but hit it wide.
And the unforced error is now returning for Averett, as we saw in that first set.
Hagan targets Nash in the back row. Mounts. And another one that's long.
1 more point now for the Eagles, and they'll take the set.
The second set just slipping away from Averett. As Mary Washington putting on an extended run here to try and close out the second set. McIntosh. And that one's in.
Yeah, I could see her looking there, trying to find a spot where no one was at, and the back left corner proved to be
24-20 as Sydney Mounts tries to keep the Cougars' hopes alive. Tipped at the net. Kept alive. McIntosh. Blocked. Green to the floor.
I think one of those balls might have come off a Mary Washington player's foot there.
And whatever it takes to get it over the net, Shane. Gallahue was able to get, I think, her left foot on it just to keep it up from touching the floor initially. The Eagles did get it across, but Averett able to finally register the point.
Showing us her soccer skills.
This one knocked over. A free ball here for the Cougars. McIntosh. And another kill.
And the Cougars in both of these sets are not going away quietly, having a couple little runs here at the end and forcing Mary Washington to call another timeout.
So the Eagles will take their second timeout of the set. Just needing 1 more point to close out the second set. They'll try and regroup here. It's a 24-22 second set in favor of UMW.
And Averett seemed to like to come back after falling behind in these sets. As we saw last time, scored quite a few points in a row, and here with 3 rattling off in a row, trying to come back and steal this set from the Eagles.
So it is after the timeout here, still Averett serve. And Sydney Mounts will serve it away for the Cougars. Liverman gets to it. Knocked along that time by Fletcher. As 24-23.
And a rare error there from the Eagles, and this set tightens up.
Mary Washington can still win it with the next point. As we'll have some extra points here in the second set. Fletcher does it.
And the comeback there falls short for the Cougars, but you got to like their fight here at the end of these sets. You just hope they can channel that all the way through.
So Fletcher, after an error on the point before, comes through to deliver the set-clinching point for Mary Washington as they go up 2-0. We'll step aside, have third set action when we return right here.
The students really do come here as leaders, and they continue to build on that through various activities.
Many of our students at W&L take on leadership roles voluntarily and eagerly.
There's also really quiet leaders in the classroom who lead by example, who lead just by being kind, and people want to follow them.
W&L has a type of student very driven. It seems like everybody here finds a leadership position pretty quickly. I wound up in charge of the peer counseling program, student worship band, and my a cappella group.
I do a lot of work with first-year students. When first-year students come and they want to do theater for the first time, I definitely try to introduce them to not only theater professors, but other upperclassmen theater students, so that when they show up to an audition, you can kind of pump them up, calm them down, get them really excited.
As a senior on the team this year, I view my role as passing forward that fantastic experience I had, being able to be a resource for the new first-year class that we brought in.
They're leaders in the community. They get involved in lots of different initiatives.
Not only do they like giving back to the community, they actually see the fruits of their labor while they're here.
One class that I took that had an emphasis on community-based learning was a food for thought, neuroscience, and nutrition class. We made videos to walk kids through food groups and nutrition.
I'm a part of the Neighbors Service League. I've mainly served through Campus Kitchen.
Campus Kitchen is a really great organization that helps combat food insecurity in the area around here.
We have an engineering course that allows students to study traffic flow in the local Lexington community and to make recommendations. Mock Convention is a moment every 4 years where W&L students create a political nominating convention. It is completely student-run. It is a learning experience for them, and it's something that our entire community takes part in. Students learn to lead in ways that prepare them to succeed long after they graduate from W&L.
Welcome back to the W&L Invitational. 2-0 in favor of 24th ranked Mary Washington against Averett as we take a look at some of the match stats. Averett actually has more kills than Mary Washington, more digs, but the biggest difference is blocks and aces. 14 blocks for Mary Washington to just 2 for Averett, and twice as many service aces for the Eagles than Cougars.
Yeah, a lot of those Cougars blocks have just not gone in any direction that's really been hittable for their other players, and that's the difference in this match so far.
Mary Washington took the first set 25-20. They rallied back to take the second set 25-23. And now, as we get ready to start the third set, come back down to the bottom side of your screen. Averett rotates back to the top half of your screen. And Mary Washington one more set away from closing out their fourth victory of the year.
And looking for their third 3-0 victory.
Lauren Foley will kick off the service rotation here in the third set. Tapped at the net. And over by the Cougars. Moore will go soft, but it finds the floor.
Yeah, and the Cougars really will look to emphasize to get off to a fast start here, especially being down 2-0. Do not want to fall behind as they did in that first set.
Foley's serve returned over on one. The Eagles weren't ready for it, so it came right back over on one as well. Back row Potter. And Parrish with the misfire.
Another error there for the Cougars. They've been racking them up. That's another area where the Eagles have dominated this game. Just not as many errors, which can be the difference in a game like this.
Gray will just have to knock it over on three. Croson deflects through. Nash dug out. Potter from the back row. Nash once more, and this time she will grab the point.
Yeah, Sarah Moore, they're just unable to corral that one. A little bit too much speed there. The first point for the Cougars.
St. Mary's College of Maryland rolling in. They play at 7 o'clock over in Holekamp Gymnasium against Southern Virginia. They'll play Averett and Washington and Lee tomorrow. Good rally here. Moore with the left. Poked across. Parrish blocked.
And just the story of this game, another block for Mary Washington, continuing to add to their tally.
Mary Washington will have the nightcap here inside of Holekamp Gym against host Washington and Lee. And then that is it for Mary Washington at the W&L Invitational. They've got their home tri match tomorrow against the University of Lynchburg and Gettysburg. Great placement that time from Allie Wilkerson, adjusting midair to find the hole in the floor. Outside Potter. Parrish in position for a block, just couldn't hold through it.
And just, as like we said, the story of the game, just unable to execute those blocks. She was right where she needed to be, just couldn't get it over the net.
So Flam will serve it along for the Eagles. Targets Parrish on the back row. That one knocked over, but not successfully by the Cougars. Emily McIntosh got the swing there.
And the Eagles are getting off to a fast start. Quick 3-point lead for them.
So both McIntoshes on the floor now for Averett. Destiny and Emily. Number 16 and 20 in yellow. Foley not on the same page with Gallahue as that set falls to the floor.
And just a little bit too much on that set for Gallahue and just unable to get a hand on it.
And going too quickly on the substitutions that time was Averett. So in comes Kinsley Stevens, Sydney Mounts. And returning for the Cougars as well is number 1, Rachel Green. It'll be Stevens that serves. The senior from Danville. In a school in her hometown at Averett. Croson. All power with the left.
Another kill for Croson there. But the story of the match. Up to 7 now as she checks off.
It's been a very balanced Mary Washington attack up front. Croson leads the way with those 7 kills. 5 kills for both Potter and Moore. And those are the team leaders in that category. 6-3 lead for Mary Washington here in the third. Mounts. Grabs the point for the Cougars.
And behind Parrish, Mounts has definitely led the way in terms of kills for Averett now with 6.
She serves here for Averett. Fletcher. And that one eats up Aaron Gray as the Eagles grab another point.
Yeah, she just didn't look ready for that one and didn't really get a good dig off.
So the Eagles will work in a few different players. Sydney Aiken will come on to serve. Her great service at the end of the second set helped to close out that in favor of Mary Washington, 25-23. Nash. And it just trickles through the block.
Yeah, one of the rare miscues there on the block for Mary Washington. Now leading in that category 16-2.
Gray will serve for Averett as they trail here in the third. Gallahue. Gray able to get something to it, and still it ends up in the Averett bench.
Yeah, the chairs seem to be a big obstacle today for really only that side of the court.
Liverman just gets caught up in the net that time. It's only the second service error against Mary Washington today. They have 8 aces, but just the second error.
It's another big reason why they're leading 2-0. Their serves have been much better than Averett's.
Jocelyn Fang, fresh into the contest, pulls it off the back row. Nash, again met by Fang. She'll go to swing and have her first kill of the day.
Yeah, great shot there by Fang. Really left the Averett player with no choice but to put a weak hit on it, and ball sailed out of play.
So Fang, who started 4 matches already this year for Mary Washington, 27 kills, 41 digs, 4 blocks across those matches. Sees her first action here in the 3rd set. And Averett responds with an Allie Wilkerson kill. And Fang, one of those perhaps go-to options for the Eagles this year as the season wears along. A young player who has cracked into the rotation to start the year and has certainly had success early on.
Yeah, Mary Washington got to be excited at what's to come for her for the next 4 years.
A step to the outside, kicked over the net that time by Wilkerson.
Seen a little bit of soccer from both sides now.
And that helps the Cougars grab the point. So the big ovation from the Cougar sideline.
A few of them mimicking the play that was made there.
Fang looking for placement, and it will end up out of bounds.
Just a little wide there for Fang. Had the kill earlier, but be a little more accurate to get another one.
Averett knots it up at 9 apiece here in the 3rd. Croson out for Mounts. Croson again, off speed this time. Parrish, blocked but out. 10th kill of the day for Hope Parrish.
And the Cougars now able to take a lead. Looking to maintain that to bring this to 2-1.
Foley for Croson, blocked. Right back to the Eagles. Fang's denied. Tapped across by Averett. Flam just takes something off that one and it falls down.
Very fortunate bounce there from Mary Washington. Just squeaks over the net and the ball falls straight down. Almost impossible there for the Cougars to really get a good shot on that.
And she really even can't believe what she just did. She kind of looked around everyone else and was just like, I really didn't mean to do that, but it worked.
Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Luck, fortunate bounce, goes your way, gets you a point.
Sarah Moore will serve. And just nobody there on the other end.
Yeah, Cougars there looked a little confused. Not really sure what was going on, but nobody there to take the hit.
Near side Mounts, blocked by Croson. And they'll say there's something against the Cougars that will stop the point immediately. 4th official right at the table blew things dead. So Mary Washington goes up 12-10.
Not sure what happened there, but extra point for Mary Washington.
Mounts catches a deflection. It comes across on one. Ends right back up with the Cougars. Wilkerson gets it over. Hustle from UMW gives a free ball to Averett. Can they capitalize? Potter. Parrish just has to get it over. Croson denied.
Finally there, Averett with a block. Just a third of the match, but they're going to have to channel a lot more of that energy to come back in this one.
Sydney Mounts. The Dikembe Mutombo finger wave after that one.
Not in her house.
And the next serve comes up short. It's a service error. So it's 13-11.
Averett really struggling with these serves. You got to think if they were able to get a few more of these over the net, how different this match could look right now.
And that one knocked wide by Emily Flam, so the two teams just trade service errors. As we're halfway through the third set. Got a nightcap for you. Mary Washington, Washington and Lee in this gym. And Doremus Trim just across the hall. You'll see St. Mary's College of Maryland against Southern Virginia. And you'll see Averett back in action tomorrow against both SVU and St. Mary's. This time it's Mounts who's denied at the net as Mary Washington comes through with another block.
Both teams now trading ways to score points. 2 service errors and a couple of blocks on these last few points.
Brenna Campbell puts it back into play. McIntosh. Met at the net. The Cougars get it over. And they will say contact with the net against Averett.
They haven't had much of that today. It's been more on Mary Washington. But at this point, any point against them hurts more than the last.
15-12. And that time it's Averett coming through.
Yeah, that was a tough shot directed right at Campbell, and surprised she even was able to put that anywhere reasonable to hit.
Mounts rotates to serve for Averett. More from the back row. And the off-speed pitch.
Caught him off guard there.
A lot of top spin into no man's land right in the middle. Timeout, Averett, as they trail 16-13 here in the third set. We'll step aside when we come back. We'll have more third set action for you right here on the Washington Lee Sports Network. (16-13) Mary Washington in front of Averett following the Cougars timeout. I'm Connell Shane Riley with you on the Washington Lee Sports Network. Mary Washington looking for a straight sets win here to kick off the W&L Invitational as Jocelyn Feng sends it over. Nash Didn't seem like she hit it clean, but it worked.
Yeah, no one there for Mary Washington. They're trying to play the block, and no one was able to get to it. Sometimes when you don't hit it clean, it pays off for you.
So the Cougars looking for something here in the third set to at least force a fourth set. That time, Allie Fletcher would not be denied.
Yeah, that deflection there for the Cougars just took too much of a spin out, and no one was able to get home.
So Liverman to serve. The Cougars will give a free ball to the Eagles. Misplayed by Fletcher, and it will fall to the floor. Just a couple of errors all around.
Yeah, 3 balls all put up into the net and then just unable to play it over. Mary Washington right now maintaining this 2-point lead. Cougars really looking to eat into that.
Fletcher. And that one will hit the antenna. Point for the Eagles.
It's not an accurate ball there, and unable to really do anything with it.
(18-15). And another block. Croson and Flam.
Been the star players so far in this one.
Mary Washington with 11 total blocks, as 22 different block assists have been handed out. This one, another miscue for the Cougars. And an ace for Mary Washington.
And for the Cougars now, it's really getting to be crunch time. They're going to have to really dig deep here and try to pull one out.
20-15 UMW. And a misfire from Nash.
And she's just been off with a few of her hits today, and really struggling to find the box.
Just 5 kills for Emma Nash, who entered the day with 52 kills the first 4 matches of the year. Flam gets another.
Yeah, and Moore there just shaking her head. She really had no play on it. And the Eagles really looking to finish this one up.
3 points away from a straight sets victory. Nash, Liverman pulls it out. And won't be able to get it over as Aiken couldn't get enough behind that one.
Yeah, it just didn't look like she got a clean hit on it, and the ball unable to sail over the net.
Nash will serve here for the Cougars. Fang saves it in front of the scores table. Foley knocks it across. Mounts. Kept up. The Eagles get it over. Parrish gets another.
And the fingertips there on that block just took too much off of it. And Aiken unable to get to the ball.
11 kills for Hope Parrish, a new season high. The sophomore from Newport News. She had a career high 12 kills last year in a match against Guilford and ODAC play.
And despite their performance, she's really been a bright spot for the team in this match. Something that they look to carry forward. Or rather, she will.
Croson uses 2 hands to send it over. Foley for Chang. Jocelyn Fang, I should say. with that one. Now Mary Washington 2 points away from closing out this match in straight sets. Bang will serve. Tipped at the net. Foley over on 2. Averett able to be there. Parrish kept it up. Croson blocking in. Goes all the way cross court off the block, but it found just a little bit of real estate.
Yeah, there was no Mary Washington player there, so absolutely no chance for them to get to that ball. Great block there for the Cougars.
Flam hits it over. The Cougars not on the same page.
Yeah,
that brings up match point.
So the Cougars now, they're really hoping to channel those rallies that they had at the end of the first 2 sets and try to prolong this match.
Match point for Mary Washington. Emily Flam will serve. McIntosh blocked. Gallahue delivers the winner. Mary Washington wins in straight sets, 25-20, 25-23, 25-18.
Yeah, and Mary Washington really just dominated from the get-go. Their hitting percentage ended up being higher at 178 compared to Averett's 121. But really the stat that you need to look at is blocks, with 11 total blocks to Averett's 3. Those are just not numbers that you can put up and expect to win.
So Mary Washington kicks off the W&L Invitational with a straight sets win over Averett. The 24th ranked Eagles get to 4-2 on the season. Averett drops to 1-4. Mary Washington will have just about an hour before their next match gets underway. Washington and Lee, the host of the W&L Invitational, will take on these Eagles at 7 o'clock right here inside of Holekamp Gym. We'll have it for you on the Washington and Lee Sports Network. That'll do it for us here in our first match of the W&L Invitational. It's a straight sets win for Mary Washington, 25-20, 25-23, 25-18 over Averett, as the 24th ranked Eagles are now 4-2 to start 2024. They will play Washington and Lee here in the nightcap inside of Holekamp Gym, and then they will head home for a tri-match tomorrow against Lynchburg and Gettysburg. Averett will have the rest of the night off. They'll return back here tomorrow and take on Southern Virginia and St. Mary's as they drop to 1-4 after the loss. But our final here in the first match of the W&L Invitational, it's Mary Washington in straight sets over Averett. For Shane Riley and all of us here at the Washington and Lee Sports Network, I'm Ryan Connell saying thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you in just about an hour for Washington and Lee, Mary Washington, right here on the Washington and Lee Sports Network.